We find ourselves now in the centre of what was the former West Berlin. We find ourselves outside the Royal Palast Kino here in the centre of West Berlin. 5 Kinos. It's taken 3 years to get into this Royal Palast Kino here in the centre of Berlin. I was introduced to Bernard, who is a fantastic guy, spoke English, which was really good of him. And he's going to show me around this 5-screen complex, the Royal Palast. So anyway, we're going to go around, we're going to go inside and have a look around this beautiful cinema. Screen 1 is gorgeous.
Not original 70mm, sort
No.
of 35 and blow up.
Yes.
Yes, I think we play the first part of Star Wars, the first part of Die Hard.
And then so you're playing it in one, and
In
the
one,
first
and
part
1
down
week
here.
later we played in Cinema 2 in 70mm
Yes.
too.
Wow.
Sometimes you have 2 in a late 89 we have 70mm in Cinema 1 and
Yes.
2 at the same time. And, here we played Die Hard in 70mm, but it was blow up.
Yes.
And in Cinema 1, you know the film Roger Rabbit?
Oh yes.
In
You had it in
70mm.
70mm.
In Cinema 1.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But they were the days, weren't they? You know. So when you had 70mm and 2 screens, you have to have 2 projectionists.
No, only 1.
Only 1?
But we play because we play it
Flatter.
Yes, then it's possible.
Yes.
It's because but the transport from Cinema 1 to Cinema 2, it's very
heavy.
And you must be very careful.
Yes, yes. Did this
3 of 4 persons
to carry it?
Yes.
Did this cinema used to have a spotlight? I see there's another porthole. There used to be a spotlight?
No.
No, just 2 projectors. And
Yeah.
Yes. I love. There's so many kinos in Berlin. There's over 90 kinos, isn't there? It's an amazing place. I was in Berlin 3 times last year.
Yeah.
This is my 2nd visit this year, and I'm back again at Christmas. I just love it, you know. Beautiful place.
TV, no DVD, it's the same.
That's right.
I think it's 66.
Yes, yes.
In a Kulturbrauerei in Prenzlauer Berg. It's a cinema.
Yes.
And it's a wrong format. And they have subtitles. And you don't see the subtitles. So the projectionist puts a...
And you don't see the heads.
Yes.
Yes.
A new cinema, 2 years old.
That's wrong.
And they can play 66.
Yeah.
And the cache was wrong.
Yes.
And so you have without
the
heads. Yeah? Because the people want to read the
subtitles. Yes, yeah. Yes.
And they started the films, and the first subtitles, you only see
half.
And then they run to the personnel, and they call the projectionist,
and then the heads.
And he must take a lot of.
Yes.
It was very.
That's not right.
Crazy.
No.
And here we can play all formats from 37 to 70mm.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you need it when you're doing your festival stuff.
Please.
When you do the festival, you must use the various formats.
Yes. Yeah. But I think 37 it's not very useful. But 66, 85, and CinemaScope.
Because a lot of European films are made in 66.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The American formats are 85 or CinemaScope.
Yes.
Much French or Italian films are in 66.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So I was surprised that this new cinema you're telling me about hasn't got 66 because
they have 8 cinemas and only 1 cinema can play 66.
Wow.
And the others have only 85 or CinemaScope.
can't.
They have no tapes.
No. Very basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only picture, sound, and nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I show you the
thank
small
you.
cinemas.
Thank you very much.
It's not so nice. They are new, I think 1985 or 1987, and we call it two cartons.
All right.
Cinema 3. So
Yes,
the same.
exactly the same.
And I can show you we have a very, very, very old machine in Cinema 4.
Oh, lovely.
The Philips FP...
6?
No, 56. I must look. Very, very good.
I love all these posters.
Very, very good.
Oh, wow.
It's better than the... This is projection room for Cinema 4.
I see.
FP30 and
Yes.
down with for Cinema 4.
All right. So you've got one platter feeding 2 kilos.
Yeah. Cinema 3. Here we have
Saturday.
yeah, and Cinema 4 and 5 we have only analog,
Right.
Dolby SR, and in Cinema 3 it's DTS and SRD.
Oh.
Careful. Before we built the cinemas 3, 4 and 5,
Yes.
this place was a foyer. It was a very, very big foyer.
Yes.
You have a wardrobe, you have big toilets,
Yes.
and in the 85 or 87 a new owner take over the cinema and they built the cinema.
The extra screens. Yes. Because this UFA Kino,
Yes.
they're having problems at the moment.
All
Yes.
cinemas
All
have
right.
problems. They built too much multiplexes.
Yes.
In Berlin in the last 5 years, I think 7 or 8 multiplexes.
Too many.
Too many.
Yes.
So they have all problems.
I see.
Or you have in Magdeburg.
Yes.
In Magdeburg, it's a small city, about 200,000 people.
Yes.
And they built 3 big
Three.
multiplexes in the 90s. It's the same like with stock, with Aktien.
Mm-hmm.
It was party time. They spent a lot of money and now they haven't.
Yes.
Someone.
This is beautiful. What a lovely size screen. How many seats?
600.
600.
Here and in Cinema 1, 900.
Wow. This is beautiful.
But they have to renovate it sometimes. Yes.
And the ceiling's unusual. Oh, that's nice.
There's some
Flood.
yes, water came from the.
Ah, that's a lovely screen.
Yes, I like this one.
It's nice. I bet it looks terrific.
But I think it's better to take some seats out.
Yes.
And make bigger.
Leg room.
Yeah.
Yes.
400 seats are enough for the
Yes.
cinema. 600 it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
And cinema 1 it's the same. I think 500 or 600 seats are okay.
enough.
And it's very, very small.
Yes.
Smaller than here.
Really?
Yeah, because in half an hour the
Yes.
show ended and we can look at cinema
you.
1. And the seats are very, very small. It's
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah.
It's not so.
But it's a lovely cinema.
Yes.
The build, it feels like a
This-
cinema.
In the before they built the small cinema, this was a wardrobe. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Now it's I suppose it's drinks and it's a lager room.
store.
Yes.
Yes.
And the foyer was very, very high. Also
Yes. Do you ever show any films here in OV?
Please?
Do you ever show any films in English here?
No, not here.
No.
There are in
Cinestar.
Berlin are only the Cinestar they place
Yes,
in
the Odeon.
Kobel in Charlottenburg.
Yes, yes,
A small cinema, and Odeon
yes.
in Schöneberg.
I've been in those.
You
yes.
see it?
Yes.
They have the Philips
Yes.
DP 75, I think.
That's right. I've been in there. Projection
Yeah?
room. Yes.
They play always films in English.
Yes.
But Odeon played with subtitles,
All right.
and Kobel plays original.
Original.
without.
Same as Cinestar. It's all OV.
Yeah?
Yes.
But I think for Cinestar it's not enough for the visitors.
Is
I
it
think-
not?
I think it's 7 or 8 kinos,
That's right.
2,000 places, and I think it's too big for original versions in Berlin. I think they have problems
Because
with their business.
yes, every time I come to Berlin, I watch movies there because they're OV, and because it's a beautiful multiplex. It has a feeling of not being a multiplex because the theatres are nice,
Yeah.
the pictures are nice, but there's never a lot of people in. You walk across the road to the Cinemax,
Yeah.
and the same film, it's got lots of people
Yeah.
going in.
Cinemax, yeah, because Cinemax was the first. They started 1 or 2 years before the Cinestar,
Right.
and Cinemax have 3,000 seats.
Yes,
Yeah.
and some of the smaller screens in the basement
Yeah.
show OV.
Yeah.
Cinemax, yes.
But I think that are not very, very small
Yes.
cinemas in the basement.
Yes.
I think I don't like it.
I've been in.
Yeah? So like Cinema 4 or 4.
Yes.
And the Cinestar started with normal German films. It was,
Right.
yeah, and not very much people came there. Huh? And then after a year or 1.5 years, they changed to original versions.
Yes.
But I think it's too big, 2,000 seats. Maybe Cinestar have 2,000 seats, maybe more. It's too much.
Right.
I think it doesn't work.
Is there much of a British population in Berlin?
Yes.
Oh, there is.
And more and more German people like to
Speak English.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and they like to see the films in the original one.
Yes.
They want to hear the voices from Bruce Willis or Tom Hanks and not
Yes.
the German speaker.
Yes, yes.
Also very, very many German people like more than 10 years ago to see films in original version.
Yes.
For 10 years ago was only one cinema in Berlin who plays English films. It was the Odeon. And so sometimes, some years later, always cinemas, more cinemas plays the English version. Yeah? Sinister, Kurbel, sometimes Cinemax.
Yes.
There are some...
Zoo Palast sometimes?
No, they play German. So I think so. But it's better because translation from the film is very, very bad sometimes. They have very bad voices. If you hear the original voice, it's very, very difficult to see the film in how called it, synchronisiert.
Yes.
Because it's amazing.
The German words can be very, very long for a small English word.
Yes.
Yes.
And then if you, I think by English films it's okay with the synchronization, but if you have Italian films, Japanese,
yes, way out.
Yeah, it's too difficult. Also Japanese films, and I like Japanese films from Kurosawa also. It's not possible to see it in German. You have to look to a cinema who plays it in original with subtitles. Then it's okay. Because it's another sound from the speaking. English is okay for German, but Italian or Asiatic languages it's not okay. You can synchronize it.
Yes.
It's impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah. And so you have to look to a cinema who plays it in original and you have subtitles. It's okay.
A lot of these small art houses, like the former GDR Kinos, they sometimes play the original version.
Yeah.
And the last night, Casablanca was subtitles.
Yes.
So is that OMU?
OMU, it's subtitles. OV is original.
Yes.
And synchronisiert is the German.
All right. That's cool.
Good. Now we go upstairs.
Okay.
For 15 minutes and then I have to work.
Yes.
And I don't know that Walt Disney have own cinemas.
No, it's a preview theatre.
You can see that.
Thank you.
I look how long. Ten or 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
It's over.
So, where did the FP20 come from?
In the 80s, they play 70mm in changeover.
Oh, of course, and the Werbung
Is here, and the file is on this one.
Yeah.
So they use this one only by 70mm.
Yes.
And because you have to change.
I know.
And the 70, always it's too much. And so they buy this one and they play the advertising.
Yes.
Because it has a very, very small picture.
Yes.
It's too small for this big screening. And they use it only when they play 70mm
yes.
in the 70s and 80s. And because the tapes are, I think the first tapes they use in Germany in the 80s. In the 70s, the most cinemas plays with changeover.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And in the 60 and 70 years, very, very much 70mm films.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, all
it was
the big
time for the 60s and the beginning of the 70s. And the 80s is very, very, not so often in the 80s, but the 60 and 70 years was
all the big ones.
Dr. Chicago, Dr. Shivago, Lawrence from Arabia, Spartacus, a lot of pictures in 70 millimeters. In the 80s, I don't 4 or 5 Star Wars was, but it was blow up.
Yes.
It was not recorded in 70 millimeters.
But even still, being a blow up, it did look better.
Yeah.
And the sound was better.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in the 90s, it's not used for. I think the last film who was made in 70 millimeters was Hamlet.
That's right.
Kenneth Branagh. But I think in the 90s it was one of the only.
Yes, the only other one was Far and Away.
It's in 70 millimeters?
Filmed in 70 millimeters.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Yes, yes.
In the 90s.
Ron Howard,
yeah.
Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman.
I know the film, but I saw it in 35 millimeters.
No, that was the last one. No, Hamlet was the last one, but that was like the last big Hollywood one to be done. But Hamlet looked fantastic in 70. Did you play it here?
No, but I saw it in the Odeon.
Ah.
And they can play 70 millimeters too, and they play Vertigo from Hitchcock too.
Yes.
First we play it, and 1 week later they play it in Odeon.
That's amazing.
But in London there are theatres who can play
the Empire Leicester Square.
Yeah.
The Odeon Leicester Square, the Warner West End, the Warner Village Leicester Square, and the Odeon West End Leicester Square. The UGC Trocadero, which is 5 minutes walk away. That's about it.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
And in Great Britain the cinemas have problems with the business too, or it's okay? Here in Germany sometimes it's very, very difficult because they build too much.
Yes.
In the last 3 or 4 years they built 40 or 50 multiplexes in Germany, and they closed first.
Yeah, in the UK the cinema admissions are going to be one of the highest this year.
Yeah.
We've had Spider-Man, we've had Star Wars, we've had a lot of big products, but admissions have gone up in the UK in the last decade. They've done well. But I think, is it not, you tell me, traditional in Germany in the summer, people go out to the beer gardens, they don't go to the cinema.
No, and in the UK it's different.
A little bit different because we don't have things like beer gardens, but what I'm saying is it's a culture over here. People go to the cinema in the summer, but in America they all go to the cinema in the summer.
Yes, I think it's the main time for business is in United States is summer.
Yes.
And here the main time it's from October to March, April, if it's cold. All big films started in Germany, or most of the big films started in Germany in September, October. In the 3rd of October we started Minority Report.
Yeah, because that's come and gone in the UK.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And some weeks later the new Bond, Matrix, all the films, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, always in October, November, December.
Yeah.
So the main time in the cinema business is Christmas.
Yes.
Before Christmas and after Christmas.
Do you close Christmas Day?
On the December 24 we closed.
December 24?
Yeah, because December of 24 in Germany it's a family party.
Yes.
No one goes outside.
I see.
The city was closed.
Yes.
At 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon the city was closed. No one is on the street. All the people are at home.
Wow.
And 25th of December, then the people go out.
And you're open?
Yeah, and then we open, yes. And then the time between December 25 to the, December 31, there is party in the cinemas. That's the main time. December 24, you can some cinemas open at Christmas, but there are no one. Very.
On New Year's Eve, do you close at say 6 o'clock?
At Sylvester.
Yes.
Yeah, we play. I think at the 5 o'clock in the afternoon is the last show.
Yes, same as England.
Yes.
Yes.
Then it's closed.
That's right. And on New Year's Day, January the 1st, the first show is dropped, and we normally start about 3 o'clock.
Yeah, genau. Me
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I notice in Berlin, normal cinemas don't start. Well, I notice you start at 2,
Yes.
but most of the cinemas don't start till 3. Is that normal?
Yeah, it's normal. I think here it's a problem because we have. I was in a Kulturbau. I worked there because some Portuguese are on holidays, and so they needed someone. And it was for me it was amazing. You have to do anything. You only put the film in the projector.
Yes.
And then you have to nothing.
Alright.
There's a computer.
Yes.
You put the
and that starts
time if you want to start it in the computer, and then you go to a beer garden, and it's all. You have to do nothing.
Yes.
And then they can play shorter the shows.
Yes.
They play in a rhythm 2.5 hours for every show, and we have to play 3 hours.
So you got
we started
time to
a little bit
earlier.
Yes.
Ah, I see.
It's difficult because we have some half automatic. Also the films stop automatically.
Yes.
But
it doesn't start automatic.
Yeah.
So have you seen the DLP projector in the Zoo Palast?
No.
I
don't see it.
In London, the OG in Leicester Square's got a DLP.
Yeah.
They've had it for 2 years, and that's gone now, and they've got a new one, a barcode projector, a proper cinema projector. So within 2 years, it's become obsolete. You have to get a new one to play Star Wars.
But I think it's too expensive. Huh?
You can't replace film. You know, it's.
I seen it. I haven't seen it, but I think the picture was not so good as a normal analog way of project. I think so. And there was a technician from UFA, and they told me that one projector, a digital projector, costs 200,000 marks.
Too much.
Too much.
You can't. And the thing is, say you had one in Kino here.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't have one in Sfry or Dry or Thumb, but you still have to have a 35mm print when it's finished in 1 to go to 2.
Yeah.
So what's the you know?
Yeah. And to build in all 5 cinemas, you have to pay 1 million marks.
You can't get your money back.
It's not possible.
No.
Not this time. Maybe in 3 or 4 years they started slowly, but not very, very fast.
I think it's going to be a long time because, I mean, I can bring a piece of film from London and say to you, put it on your projector and show it. You can do it.
Yeah.
But you can't do that with digital. You've got to program it. You've got to download it.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's so many there's I think 3 or 4 different types of sound now on digital. So you've got to change your formats.
Yes.
Whereas at least I can give you a roll of film and say play an SRD, DTS, DTS. You just go click and you play the sound.
Yeah.
You know, you can take it anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem now, I think it's a price. Huh?
Yes.
Some big cinema, Cinemarks, wanted to buy digital projector, but they have no money. They build too much multiplexes, and they have no money.
Have you been in the one at Alexanderplatz?
Yes, in the Kubiks.
Kubiks, yes.
Yeah, it's a UFA Kino.
Yes, sir. Of course, yes. It's a nice cinema.
I wasn't there. It's new. It's half a year old, and I have no time
to go.
But they don't want open the cinema, but they have
contract,
and
so they had to open it.
They had to open it because we have 15 multiplexes in Berlin, and this one is the last, and no one wanted it. No one wanted it. It's a multiplex. Nobody needs it.
Yeah, we have the same thing in England. In Cardiff, there's 3 multiplexes. Well, Cardiff in Wales, small city, 3 multiplexes, and there's a 4th one that is built ready to open, but they won't open it.
Yeah.
It's all built, you know, and they say there's problems at the technicalities of the lease, but it's rubbish. They just won't open it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Germany, there's this phenomenon in Ruhrgebiet, Dortmund, Essen, Westfalen,
yes.
in West Germany. There are some multiplexes. They are not open. They are ready,
really?
but cinema, as a big Kette,
yes.
Cinemax or Ufer or something other, we don't open it. It's cheaper to build it, and then because we have a contract,
yes.
and if it's ready, we don't open it. It's cheaper than to open the cinema.
So do you think in Germany the building of multiplexes has reached its limit?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Same in the UK. They're still building, but it's too many.
It's too many. I think in the next 3 or 4 years, some of the multiplexes were closed.
We've had some in England close already. Yes.
Yes. New cinema, new multiplexes, 5 years, or I think in the next 3 years, because now there are, in Germany there are 3 or 4 big movie theater, Ketten, how called it in England, like McDonald's or
yes.
Big firms.
Yes.
You have very, very much cinemas.
Yes.
3 or 4 in Germany. And I think in 3 or 4 years there are only 2. It's a very, very hard fight now.
Yes.
I think now it's a time you have to hold every cinema, and you hope that the concurrent was
yes.
close to cinema. It's a very, very hard time for cinema in Germany now, because it's
yes.
too much.
Too much. How does the likes of is it the Film Palast, the single screen on Dam?
Yeah.
How does that manage in the Adelphi and the Cinema Paris? They're all single screens.
Yeah. I think the Film Palast and the Astor, you know the Astor?
Astor, yes.
Maybe close this year.
Yes, I heard that last year, so they may be closing.
Delphi, it's okay.
Delphi is lovely.
A very, very special program.
Yes.
They play other films, and it's a very, very good cinema.
It's a lovely cinema.
Yeah. And Film Palast and Astor, sometime I heard it.
Be a shame.
They close it this year, maybe next year, because for one cinema it's very, very, very difficult.
Yes.
And the situation in Berlin changed in the last years. It's very, very hard, because before the wall tears down,
this was the main centre.
This was the centre.
That's
now
correct.
The centre
is
Potsdamer Platz.
Yes.
And many cinemas at the Kurfürstendamm were closed. Gloria Palast was closed. A big cinema, Marmorhaus, was one of the oldest cinemas in Berlin.
Oh, right.
It opened in 1910. Were closed last year. Filmbühne Wien closed 2 years ago. Very, very traditional cinema. The first Berlinale was at Filmbühne Wien.
Which is the cinema, you may have just said it there. When I first came back to Berlin about 2 years ago, just up the main street of Kurfürstendamm, I'll say that properly, there was a cinema there. Now it's all being knocked down, the internal, but it was VWIEN, something VN.
You can write it? I don't understand it.
Okay. Or maybe not. It was cinema something, like that was the name of it.
Filmbühne Wien.
Ah, that's it.
This one I told you.
Yes.
Filmbühne Wien.
Because that looked really nice from the outside.
From the outside, but only from the outside.
Oh, right.
From the inside was like after a bomb attack.
Yes.
It was very
old and run down.
Yeah. And they closed it 2 years ago.
Yes.
And this was the cinema who started the Berlinale in Berlin, 1951. Or the first festival after the Second World War started in the film. It was a very, very traditional house. But they closed it 2 years ago. Marmorhaus, it's older than the Filmbühne Wien. Mama House, the premiere from Metropolis.
Oh really?
The premiere was in Mama House.
Wow.
It was this one of the two big cinemas in the 20s. One was the Palast, the Palast.
Yes.
And the second was Mama House at Kurfürstendamm. Now there's a clothing shop.
That's right. Yes.
And the Gloria Palast, a big cinema from the 50s, were closed 3 or 4 years ago. And maybe this year Film Palast and Astor were closed. And only the Royal Palast here and the Zoo Palast, the last one.
That's a shame. And you got the Broadway in the shopping centre.
Yes, you know. But
yes.
They are not. These are not very, very good cinemas.
No, I know.
It's difficult.
Yes.
It's too,
I know.
too small. You have some Säulen, wie sagt man, in a cinema. You have
pillars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look so. I think these are not very good.
No,
Cinema,
no.
It's better for shops or something other.
And they play art house movies like the Delphi.
Yeah. And very, very films for children. Very, very much.
Oh, nice.
Also, Scooby-Doo und
Yes.
Lilo und Stitch or European children films, they play a lot of.
Has Lilo and Stitch opened in Germany yet?
Yes.
Oh, it's been and gone.
Yeah.
In England, that's October. We don't put our cartoons out in the summer. We wait till October.
Yeah?
And we take more money because children are off for a week in October off school. So we release it just before that.
Yeah.
And we make more money than releasing in the summer.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's like here.
Yeah, but in the summertime they have holidays.
Yes, I know, but it's like what we were saying before. All your big movies are released after summer.
Yeah.
And likewise, for us, the main cartoon comes out in October.
Ah.
They always do it that way.
And then the time around Christmas, is it in...
Well, it's still running. See, it opens in October, gets all the school holidays, then it lasts, obviously figures drop a bit, but...
Wait a moment.
Okay. Oh, Michael, what a beautiful projection room. Looks like a projection room. And we've got DP70s. What more can you ask for?
Alles klar, also noch erstmal stehen. Alles klar, danke.
Lift. What would you do without this?
Also.
That's beautiful.
Maybe I can open the tape from here.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
But I opened it from downstairs. Yeah?
Okay. 800 seats in this Kino. Beautiful. Is this your snatch roller?
Yeah.
It stops.
It stops,
Yes.
because the polyester
Yes.
material destroys the projector.
Yes.
So,
Hey,
ready.
lovely, thank you.
Have you seen
There
it
you go.
before?
So, yes, yes. There we
I think
go.
it's a B picture in 70 millimeters. I don't know the title.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it lovely?
It's not Lawrence from Arabia.
Oh no, that's lovely to see.
Yeah.
They were the
We have it
days.
for to test sometimes.
Yes, yes.
Because I work here 5 years and
Yes.
I
It
never
was-
use this machine. This one is it's 300, no, 250 hours. No?
And-
But the last one we
Yeah.
had here works 1000 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's not so bad here because the projectors are straight. It's when it's on a rake they last less. When the,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Here it's okay,
yeah, because it's nice and flat. That's lovely.
but from 900 hours the lamp began to
Yeah,
Yeah.
and flicker.
yeah,
Definitely.
and that's okay. And on this big screen it's
Oh.
you see it.
Yes. You used to have a projector here.